Hello and welcome to Leviathan News. Today is November 17th, and we have a intermittent Dio who is in Turkey and is here
Hello,
to give
guys.
us some.
From my connection is I'm at the hackathon, and internet connections at hackathons are always bad. When you need it the most, it fails on you. Nothing
Everyone's
can be
online there
unpacked
for sure.
downstairs.
So give
Exactly,
us an
exactly.
update on DevConnect. What's going on?
At the DEF Connect week, Istanbul, we had many different cool events. There was the Unstable Summit. There was the Pragma. Were a lot of small, interesting side events. Yeah, it was events mostly about scaling, but also like how do we fight inflation? How do we like we see that in Turkey? There was a cool DAO day from Arbitrum where we had and where we're discussing DAO formation structures and how do we actually going to coordinate ourselves in our new industry. And yeah, a lot of really cool discussions in the old city of Rome. Is of when is the last time you thought of Rome? Well, we're in Constantinople, Istanbul, so interesting city, cool events, and very good vibe, and very bullish vibes. Very, everybody seems to still be building. It's like it feels more like a bull market vibe, but then less like scams and hype stuff. So generally good vibes, I would say.
Any good projects you've come across?
Yeah, I mean, it's like Gearbox is here. I just had a chat with my finance as well. CowSwap, yeah, all the usual good projects that I met. There was a Eigenlayer. I went to specifically to the Restaking Summit to get a better understanding of what Eigenlayer is and how that will work and how that will impact um, uh, our industry. That was very interesting. So yeah, I would say a lot of cool projects on Eigenlayer and yeah, a lot of like Gearbox, all the standards, good projects that we know. I didn't see that many new projects I was super excited about, to be honest. Yeah.
Can you talk about the Eigenlayer Day? Like what was happening there? Give us the update on what happened.
Well, actually, at Pragma, unfortunately, was too late because I was at the Arbitrum DAO event. But there was at Pragma there was a discussion between Celestia, Eigenlayer, and Near. And it was like the three on a row and discussing what is a better design. That was very amusing. And at the Eigenlayer Day, there it was mostly discussions about what does it mean to have a data availability layer. What are the risks? But also like what problems can we solve if you have a data layer, right? And it was more also a general discussion like Ethereum is in need of a data layer to solve a lot of the current problems. And that Eigenlayer might be the solution to do that. But also very honest that we still need to build a lot to make that work. Yeah.
Very cool. So it's already run a week now.
I arrived Monday, so I'm here for 5 days. But it's been going on for longer. There was like even people that arrived last week, a week beforehand. There was also an AVAX summit. So there were many events around the ETH events. That's normally how that goes. So it's been going on for 2 weeks now, I think.
Oh wow. Well, that's pretty cool.
How many
How?
people are attending?
Yeah.
A lot of
Sorry?
people there? How many people
Yes.
are attending?
Yes, I will afterwards send a photo in the group about. I cannot. If I walk in the hall now, the sound is going to be very bad. But it's a basically two big halls full of people hacking right now, and also the events themselves were yeah, were very busy as well.
with people from all around the world? Did you meet a lot of
All
people?
around the world, but also a lot of local people. It's interesting to see the local people here. They really need crypto. Like I just walked on the street from the Intercontinental where we had our breakfast, and then we walked to this event, and I saw 2 Bitcoin exchange venues in a 15-minute walk. So it's yeah, it's quite interesting. Um, there's even an arbitrage. Like there's places where you can have like a 2 or 3% discount on your USD Tether if you find the right OTC deal or something. So there's some friend of mine, he exchanges USD Tether for Turkish lira with a 3% discount.
Nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that crypto is strong there because of the situation with the Turkish lira throughout these past years, right? People probably are at least the more Western-oriented people or familiar with it are pretty much for sure into crypto. Many of them, the young ones at least, right?
Yeah, yesterday we had a boat ride with Castle Capital, and the
Oh, wow,
Castle
nice.
Capital boat ride was paid with USD Tether. And the captain said that that he's very much into crypto, that he likes it, and we tracked his wallet, and he was staking his USD Tether on Aave, I believe. So it was a very big surprise to us to see that.
That's cool, man.
He had quite a big amount on there. It was like probably his savings, right? So it's interesting to see that it's happening like this. I mean, it's been 17% inflation over the years in Turkey, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but there's been a crazy amount of inflation.
Yeah.
And the society is still functioning, but you feel a lot of tension in the city. Actually, it feels a little bit tension. Yeah, a little bit of tension on that. People are not very rich here. You feel there's a lot of beggars and stuff. So yeah, people need to find ways to get out.
Yeah.
From talking with the
So-
devs, have you got a chance to see what particular like focuses or like interest areas the devs at the hackathon have been building apps in? Is it like more like DeFi
I didn't have
stuff?
time. I didn't have that much time to walk around yet to talk to many devs, but the general vibe is good. I didn't hear too much NFT stuff and too much shitcoinery stuff, but it was mostly. I don't know. I need to get a better temperature check on it. But so far, I heard more like, oh, we're building cross-chain stuff or MetaMask intents, or or there is the wallet notification, like push notifications. There is now a new SDK that we're actually looking into ourselves as well, which is account abstraction from Safe. And we just integrated it, and it has a native Stripe integration in your account abstraction wallet. So that was kind of cool.
That's pretty cool.
So yeah, a lot of things. I will. I would actually recommend to follow the Ethereum Istanbul website, and then you can actually see all the hackathon submissions when they are getting submitted. So then you can take a look yourself. That will probably happen tomorrow. I think tomorrow around 5 p.m. Yeah.
Very nice. So what's on the plan now? Like, what happens over the next few days? Is it wrapped up now?
Yeah. So for me, it's kind of wrapped up. I'm flying back on the 20th. I'm gonna fly back to Bangkok. But I believe there's still some events going on, but it's more like some little side events for some local projects, I believe. But I'm leaving on the 20th. Yeah. So tomorrow there's another hackathon day, and the 20th I do want to do some cultural stuff. I do want to visit some of the local, some of the local old Roman Empire artifacts. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Well, cool. Good to hear the update about what's going on in Dev Connect. We'll be checking in on it, how those hackathon projects get up, and we're looking forward to having you back when you get to Thailand.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm also hacking myself, so I'm gonna get coding and like trying out all these new tools. I would actually anybody, that wants to learn more about crypto, like even if you're in crypto a long time or a short time, whatever, doesn't matter. Just doing a hackathon is always kind of like very useful to get really updated with all the new tech stack and just really get your hands dirty. Yeah, it's a really cool way to stay in touch with all these things.
What are you working on there? You want to share a bit?
Yeah, so we were planning to do something with eigenlayer and restaking, but we kind of had to pivot away from that because it's all just not ready. So because the eigenlayer still has a lot of things to develop, but they're moving in definitely in a good direction. So now we are building an account extracting DeFi wallet where basically people can just log in with their email or something, get a private key in the background, completely self-custodial, and then we're trying to build a DAI leverage vault, S-DAI leverage vault with Gearbox. Yes. I would have also loved to build it with SFrex next time if they're sponsor.
That would be great.
There you go. Yes.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for the update, Dio. Really appreciate it, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you back on stream next week.
All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you.
Good one. I will listen in on the background, but I will go back to the room.
All right. Have a
Enjoy,
good one,
man.
Dio.
Thanks a lot.
Make sure
All
to
right,
like and
thanks, guys.
subscribe then.
Yes. Oh yeah, I will
exactly.
say that to them. All right, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So thank you, Dio, for coming on to talk about what's happening at DevConnect. It was great to get some updates on the ground, boots on the ground. So our frontline reporter here to tell us about what's happening in Istanbul. It's great to hear. Well, cool. So let's hop into the news. So we had a spat happen yesterday where Nick Johnson, the lead developer of Ethereum name service, publicly called out competitor Unstoppable Domains. So Nick was calling out UD or Unstoppable Domains because of a patent issue where Johnson accused Unstoppable Domains of patenting an innovation originally developed by ENS. According to Johnson, the patent was filed and it was given late last year, and now Unstoppable Domains is trying to create this developers association or like domain association that they want ENS to join, but ENS says no, we don't want that. We just want this to be an open patent, and if you don't do this, we're going to consider legal options against you, because ENS is claiming that there are functions within this patent that they had put to production first, and that it should be open for everyone to use. So there had been discussions going back and forth between the companies, and Unstoppable Domain founder Matthew Gold responded to the open letter saying, there are no forward guarantees that can be made that make sense given the changing landscape of the industry. In my opinion, the only solution is to increase collaboration and discussion. Really, like, it was a non-answer because Nick called him out and said, hey, like, will you put in writing that this will be an open patent for everyone? But they wouldn't do that. They just invited everyone to join the Web3 Domain Alliance, which is a group founded and run by Unstoppable Domains.
Yeah, so they want to sit on the wheels, as they say, or no, like they want to create the group, but actually be in charge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can understand, I think, and I'm not very much familiar with the details, so I can say who's right or wrong, but like when I hear this story for the first time from you, I tend to understand the ENS position, like on the first notice, at least, like from first perspective. I mean.
Yeah, I mean, patents are always a touchy subject when it comes to crypto stuff because a lot of it is open source software, and there's a lot of teams working out there. So, Nick wants everything to be open source and all of the licenses, patents, everything to be like open. And so the route that Unstoppable Domains has taken has been like less than savory to Nick. And then they also had some, here, we'll look at this. So he put out this big tweet. Matt comes back and says, thanks for taking these time to have these conversations with us. We continue to offer open invitation to join the Web3 Domain Alliance and advance Web3 naming for all systems. Just like ICANN was essential to DNS, standard bodies will be essential to Web3. So he put out that. Nick comes back and says, what do you think about backing up your PR pledge with something binding, Matt? I think what we propose is quite reasonable and keeps the door open for defensive use. And he says, I think your proposed solution doesn't take into account the fact that we want there to be multiple naming systems, not just ENS. And the only way to ensure the future of that is to have a place where everyone, not just UD and ENS, collaborate. There are no forward, again, this quote that I said, and he said, I understand that what we're doing is not new, but hope that in 12 months, the value of the Web3 Domain Alliance as a forum to protect open competition will become apparent, and that we can prove ourselves with actions, since I believe forward guarantees are not enforceable without a forum for discussion. And then Nick comes back and says, we're asking you to license your patent openly, not just to ENS, to anyone, unless they violate the agreement. And he mentioned IBM as a entity that has patent non-aggression acts. So
seems like this story is just starting, right?
yes. This could be the beginning of something much longer and drawn out.
Yeah, this is not a movie, this is a TV show, guys.
Exactly.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. In other news, we have the SEC has extended its decision-making time frame regarding Grayscale's proposal to convert its Ethereum trust into an ETF. The new deadline is now set for January 1st, 2024. The decision allows the SEC to punt for more time to approve or disapprove, or initiate proceedings to potentially disapprove the proposed rule chain. So this delay was not unexpected. So Grayscale has been working to transform all of its trusts into ETFs, both Bitcoin and Ethereum now. And this represents just another roadblock in trying to get there. So Grayscale, as we reported, achieved legal victory against the SEC concerning its Bitcoin trust in 2 months ago. And while the judges did not directly approve Grayscale's proposal, they instructed the SEC that their decision was arbitrary and capricious, and that they would need to reconsider their denial. Right. Okay. And getting on to hacks and other news, Raft has published information, a proposal, how they were going to compensate affected users. They do have a new plan that they're putting up, but in this original plan, they proposed to distribute 3,963,192 DAI from the PEG stability module to users impacted by the incident. The compensation will be based on users' holdings and interactions with the protocol as recorded at the snapshot time on November 14th, 2023. And to qualify for compensation, users had to meet the certain criteria, which is they had to hold R tokens, either idle in their wallets or as LP tokens at the snapshot time. They could not have traded R after the exploit date. And for MEXC users, they would need to provide proof of purchase before the exploit. So the compensation was categorized into 3 groups: liquidity providers, RR holders, and R idle holders. For LPs, compensation was calculated based on the USD value of each LP position at the snapshot time, considering various liquidity pools. RR holders and R idle holders would receive compensation based on the amount of R held. So there's a spreadsheet that shows all the affected parties and the Raft team asked the community to provide feedback on the forum up until the 21st of November, which is in 4 days. And after this period, the plan would be finalized and implemented, and it would go to a vote. So the proposal reflects Raft's efforts to address the consequences of the security breach that happened the other day. And it's unfortunate for them, but hopefully they can bounce back.
Have either of you used Raft?
No.
Me neither. Did they say who's not, like, did you understand who's not at this moment getting the refund for the hack?
It would be people that potentially sold their Raft after the hack happened.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's kind of a interesting to see how the community will respond to it. And also interesting to know how many people are involved there who were affected.
I can pull that up. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Because they have a spreadsheet of the affected users.
Ah, cool.
Yes. So you can come and see. It's really unfortunate. I hate seeing these spreadsheets, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. But I think that we haven't seen the last of it probably in our industry. I don't think it's the last hack we've seen.
So there were 1,339 affected users. Most of them had small balances, maybe under $5. Some larger holders. So some larger holders. Here's a guy who had $2.45 million of net exposure, and he's going to be returned $1.5 million. So that looks to be like a 60% hit.
And crypto. If anyone tells you crypto is risk-free, they're lying to you.
Yeah. There's a lot of risks.
Yeah. My unpopular opinion is that we're not going to be able to ever flip in the existing financial system as long as like these hacks keep happening. And I don't know the answer to it.
How many years do we still have, Garrett, in your opinion? 5, 10, 25?
I actually kind of am coming around to the opinion that we need something more substantial. Like we need a chain where like it's possible to rewind these sorts of things or something, which like raises all sorts of other questions and problems. So I just don't know that the EVM in its current state is going to be something like, regular people can't put their money on into something and see like their like life savings disappear. Like hopefully people here are just playing with funny money. So like, hopefully they heeded all the warnings and aren't like YOLOing their net worth into these things. But like a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck, and a hack like this would destroy them if they actually like relied on it.
Although it's exactly the same in a way as the current system with the banks, because the people who were on Lehman Brothers in 2008 or whatever, they were pretty sure they're gonna keep their money, no?
Except normies have like at least FDIC insurance. Like for all the faults I see with the current financial system, like the fact that like a regular person can have some guarantee that deposits up to a small amount are like secured, like we need something like that in crypto. I don't know how we get there.
I think
maybe if we're liquid enough, no?
No, I mean, it's two different systems. I mean, if you want deposit insurance and you want the ability to roll back whatever transactions you have, then you don't use crypto. I mean, that's just the long and the short of it.
I agree. And then the tough part is when like poor people come up to me and ask like, should I go into crypto? I'm like, no, if you're poor, you should stay away. Like that's not the path to mass adoption.
But I think that it depends on where, because I don't really think that, in my opinion at least, poor people should stay away from crypto. In my opinion, poor people should like try their luck in crypto, because it's quite a bigger chance for them, at least.
Well, can we separate? Can we separate, please, the speculative aspects of new projects versus the core functions of like sending payments back and forth from people? Like, you don't have to use DeFi. You don't have to use Aave or Raft or any of these like DeFi products. You can use a stable coin like Tether or USDC to send money back and forth. You can use
Or
Bitcoin,
UST, which was a blue chip at the time.
DeFi product based on highly like
People
dubious.
didn't know that. People
did.
saw that
No,
being
they
no, they
did.
saw it being advertised at the Washington National Stadium or
Okay.
Washington baseball team, whatever.
What, the Raft one?
Look,
No, I mean
like it just happens. People assume stable coins
Terra.
are safe.
I
Yeah,
would.
they're not, guys.
Well, again, like I think that if with the stable coins we had stable coins like Tether and USDC. Again, like the Luna, again, you can argue was speculative gambling because of most people's desire to buy it was to put it into Anchor and to achieve some like 20% interest rate, which wasn't real. And it was
It was
based on
also
just
marketed as like a payment stablecoin within Korea through their partnership with Chai, which is just supposed to be for daily payments. So a lot of people like around the world got hosed on it, thinking it was
Yeah.
just a safe store of value.
Of course, but you know, that's I get it, but most people again were buying Luna not for payments; they're buying it for Anchor, and to chase these 20% yields. I don't like we know in like post Luna collapse that people were not using it for Chai, that they were inflating the volumes, and that they were like creating supposed demand where there wasn't internally, and they were faking those things. So the majority of people were using it for interest rate speculation at the time, which was 20%, and it was clear that you know that just wasn't in a low rate environment. The only way that yield could come from was from somebody else, and we found that out later on. But again, like this is 2023, and we can do like whataboutisms, but the core assets that are the undergrid of Ethereum ecosystem, they don't have to go into DeFi. Like people that put their products into like newly created DeFi apps that are less than a year old, which have a small amount of TVL and you know, like just not Lindy status at this point. Like, but even with Curve as well too, with the Viper tax, like
Absolutely, like and
of course.
the
So
Curve's,
you don't. But
I'm a Curve
safest,
maxi, and I tell people if they're poor, stay away from Curve. Same
Of
thing with
course.
USDC. USDC it depegged, and it could have depegged to zero during that tragic weekend. It ended up being okay, but that no one's buying USDC for speculative purposes.
No,
Tether,
of course, but
it's
you
supposed to be
could.
safe, but there could be a run on Tether or whatnot. Like the Tether fudsters could prove true.
I
Like
don't think so. But look, like you can
I
buy.
don't either, but
You
I
can
know
buy.
I'm speculating.
Of course, but you can
I'm
buy
not going to
stable
tell my
coins.
parents to go here.
You can buy stable coins on Tron and keep them on Tron, and they're probably
Oh.
going to be just fine. It's just how it works, right?
It's
like
a lot of faith in Justin Sun's universe. Like I mean I get it. Like I just say that like if you are willing to lose all of your money, then by all means like go into crypto because that's a potential and it seems almost like likely outcome. And
yeah,
until
but
that's fixed,
that's why people are here is that like people are betting on the future speculative growth of certain parts of our ecosystems. And as we all know from early stage ventures, like 90% of all projects fail, and maybe even higher, maybe like 95%. There's a few winners, and so the fact that people are betting on these things as the future of crypto money or NFTs or God knows what, you know, there's always going to be losers. There's going to be a few core winners. Like think of how many like oracles there were, and now we have like Chainlink and Pith, which announced an airdrop today for Solana users. But you know, there's consolidations over time, and you know, there's winners that emerge, right? And everybody else that is not in those winners ends up being the losers. It's just how the cycle works.
right.
So,
And
but
while
you don't
that's
have
the
to gamble
case,
on it.
like, well, that's
You don't-
well at the moment it's like playing the lottery, which is fine because a lot of poor people do it, and I don't think they should do that either.
Well, even like it's not just poor people. I mean, it's just people in general. Like you don't have to, if you're worried about these things, just buy Bitcoin and hang on to it. Don't do anything else. Like, you know, it takes a special kind of person to look into the like speculative future and try to divine their way towards, you know, picking winners in this industry. It's hard, and most people can't do it, and most people lose their money, and they'd be better off just buying an index portfolio. And so if you are going to do that, like remember where we are. We're like at the bottom, like the tail end, the furthest part of the risk curve, right? I don't understand. I don't know what would be further than crypto down on the risk curve. But just be aware of that. Like if you look at people who have like moderately sized portfolios and above, the amount of crypto exposure that they would potentially have is anywhere between like 1% to 5%. And so if 100% of your portfolio is in crypto, like fine, but just be aware of the risks that you're taking and the amount of volatility that you've injected into your portfolio. And that it could go to zero overnight. It probably will. Yeah.
No, I hope not. I definitely hope it won't. But I do think that in general, I think you both agree with each other mostly in a way, because I do think that people should be like conservative with their money, at least to the extent that they are still reassured, like that they are okay in general. But I think that people should be aware of the risks for sure with everything that financial that they do. And I think that we also should remember with that we're doing a lot of this kind of stuff because inside we know that the traditional system can prove itself as very unsuccessful as well. So it's all part of
I think the traditional, if you're an American and you live in the United States, traditional system works great. You're able to buy and sell stocks, invest into companies, and protect your savings in a bank. And it's done very well. And there's a great set of regulators to make sure that happens.
Yeah, but in 2008, people lost money, man. Like even though the fact that it's the States and the biggest bank in the world,
who lost money? Who lost money? Retail people,
no one lost money in 2008.
A lot of
like
people
ordinary people. I mean, ordinary people who lost their pensions funds and stuff like that. Like what? People didn't lose their life savings.
Crypto wouldn't have changed anything there. Like it wouldn't have changed anything. Like what you're talking.
How can you tell? Like
because
what
you're talking about is that somehow the introduction of crypto into the banking sector before 2008 would have prevented these large institutions.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying that there are risks. we haven't found as mankind we haven't found the best way or an absolutely bulletproof way to secure our funds, and we're in the process of it, and it's going to be a long process.
I mean, it's important to understand that like crypto takes a place where we have like widespread and arbitrary financial repression against certain peoples and countries or systems that are not able to access the United States banking system or EU banking system or dollars, really in general. Let's just call it dollars. And so crypto is a way for those people at the margins to gain access to these like on-chain financial institutions and engage in financial activities that they normally would be either banned from or not have access to because of what they have inside their countries. And so it's a system that expands the access to the dollar to those who don't have it. And if it's important to understand that like for people that have access to the dollar, like me and Garrett, and like on a really well thought out basis, like it does less for us, but it's really important globally for other people who don't have access to the dollar, and like people in Turkey, like Dia was talking about, where there is financial repression. Now you have the ability to create a like digital offshore bank inside your head where you can store billions of dollars and be able to like walk across a border at any time with nothing on you except those 12 words or 24 words in your head, and relocate and set up somewhere else. And that's never been able to happen before. Like so it's I've always thought of crypto as being finance for people at the margins, and in not being something that becomes like the dominant financial system. But I could be wrong.
I think it's about time perspective as well. Go ahead, Greg.
Oh yeah, I think it's tough. I mean, I think, I'm guessing, I don't know your actual financial states, but I'm guessing that you're all here in crypto because like you have enough money to play around with, and if all your crypto portfolio went to zero overnight, like you'd be okay. And I think in that situation, like it makes sense to hedge bets. Absolutely, right? Not financial advice, of course, but like one of the commenters points out that like the fractional reserve system of banking is itself a house of cards, which might collapse. And like it makes sense to avoid hedge exposure to it with crypto. So I think like we're kind of living through interesting times, and the more we can if we're in a position to, the more we can hedge ourselves by like diversifying, the better.
I think it's a gross misunderstanding of portfolio construction to think that like for most people, they're very wealthy and have a lot of money, crypto would represent about 1 to 5% of their portfolios. And so I think that's probably a healthy place to be. If your crypto portfolio, if you have 1% of your crypto portfolio as your net worth and it goes to zero, that's fine. It's like, your stock portfolio moves that in a weekly basis. But if you have
literally my crypto portfolio was 1%, and then the price of Bitcoin shot up so much it became 90% of my portfolio. So
well, it's time to rebalance then. Buy some houses.
I mean, it's only because I have like $5 in my. It's because I had like $5 in my checking account. That's why like I could see such swings.
And also, people, I remember in the bull market, people were very reluctant to sell because of taxes. Like they were like, man, I'm so up on Bitcoin and I'm telling him like, man, buy some ETH because there's so much stuff to do with it. And this guy was actually kind of an ETH maxi in a way, but he wouldn't let go of his amount of Bitcoin because he didn't want to pay the taxes. He just it locked his decision making. You know what I mean?
I think it's fine. You can always borrow against your assets, tax free. So be like,
no. I like if you did that, you're probably putting your money in what was the one BlockSec or whatever that got destroyed.
I mean, like if you're
platform for Bitcoin.
Well, if you have Bitcoin and you
BlockFi.
If you have Bitcoin and you bring it to ETH, and then deposit into Aave, and then borrow
or Curve USD
or Curve USD. Shout out.
Only way to go.
If you put your Bitcoin into Curve USD and take a loan there, I mean you wouldn't incur any capital gains tax. But this is again like, be like wealthy people, accumulate assets, wait for the prices to go up, and then take debt against it, and hopefully it's pretty cheap debt, and you don't have to sell anything.
I actually hope that in this next hopefully upcoming bull market, I think that my biggest lesson as an investor is that I have to know how to sell some things sometimes. Like you can't not sell anything at any point and expect to make money, because it's all paper gains. And I've definitely seen my own, I'm sure that many of us did, but like it was so surreal in a way to see my portfolio go up that much when I enter and then go down that much. It was so it was a very humbling and learning like an educating experience.
I think it's one of those things where you just get to the point where you're like happy. You have to be happy with yourself, right? To be able to sell, to say that like, I don't need anything more. I can provide for myself, my family, and everything's great. It's more about getting into like that Zen state of saying like, I have enough, I don't need any more. And if it does go up, like if it does double again, like that's fine.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy for whoever I'm selling it to now. Like it goes another 100x, go for it, man. Like and exactly, you're exactly right when you say about that Zen stuff, because it's it's all a big mental game within ourselves in a way. Our feeling as investors, and like how we remain our calmlessness, and It's quite a teaching experience about oneself. Like I recommend people investing just to like it teaches you about yourself if you do it after a while that you're doing it. It teaches you about your own decision making and how you feel about stuff and whatever.
Yeah, 100% agree. Because you don't want to watch the go to zero. Like nobody ever lost sleep or money taking profits. So
yeah,
like as we sit with Sol running up to $50, $60, and AVAX lifting off the highs, Bitcoin running up 2x, like there's nothing wrong in getting out now. Like if it's now and we look back and Bitcoin's at 50,000 sometime next year, like nothing's wrong. Like you made a ton of money, everything's great, and just be happy. Get outside, touch grass.
Yeah, buy yourself a new barbecue.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Take that $20 you made and buy a barbecue.
at least at least you can sit with friends and put some burgers on it or whatever.
Yeah, because I think people forget that like we all get into this, like money's just a tool to be able to like do the stuff that you want to do, right? And so if you're like unhappy and in a bad state, but you're making money, you're still going to be unhappy and in a bad state, even if you sell, and unless you change your habits, right? You really have to get into like a good habitual state where you feel good, your mind's in a mental state, so that you can be in that better mind state.
Unfortunately, if you browse through crypto Twitter, you realize the mental state of the people who are still here is like crazy. Like,
I know. We're all included in that as well too. So
what's the Batman city? Gotham. We're all living in Gotham, like an insane asylum.
yeah. Okay. So let's see what else we have. Poloniex is going to be opening up withdrawals and deposits soon. So they made an announcement that they have worked with a top-tier security auditing firm, and they're in a final stages of a security audit and verification process. Upon completion of the audit, they will promptly resume deposit and withdrawal services on Poloniex.
How much money was lost there? Do you guys remember? It was a lot, right? Like
it was a lot.
Almost 200 million, am I right?
It was, I thought it was 120 million, I believe. Was it more?
The number I'm remembering is something like 180, but I'm not sure. I don't want to just say.
I thought it was around PeckShield reports that it was about 125 million.
Wow.
So $56 million in ETH, $48 million of Tron, $18 million worth of BTC.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And how many days was Poloniex not working?
It's been a couple of days now.
How much money do you think that they've lost because there was no trading these past few days?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe a few $100,000. I don't know.
Because they do like huge volumes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they do decent volumes. But it's Justin's working on, I'm sure he'll pay everybody back. Tron's worth billions. So Tron actually went up after the hack. Funny
really?
Enough. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
How?
Because the market is crazy sometimes. It doesn't do what you want it to do. Okay. I think that's it. Was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about?
I'd briefly just shout out Viper Day happened yesterday, which was the first like dev event focused solely on Viper of its nature. It was a bunch of heavyweight speeches. Unfortunately, a lot of the videos are not yet live. They've been promised to be posted in the upcoming days. But there's still like a ton of interesting stuff that leaked. A lot about new logo, a sneak peek into a lot of the modules. So check out my blog, curve.substack.com. I wrote up a very comprehensive review of all the speeches and all the public information we could find about each of them. So it'll be a good companion to be able to get you through to the point when the videos get released. And then after that, once the videos are released, like a lot of good supplemental material there.
Respect, get it. Respect, man, for all you do.
Was it what sort of alpha? Can you give us some alpha from Viper Day?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what's any upcoming projects we should already know about?
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about libraries. Like, what new libraries are coming?
I mean, so I was just able to kind of like figure out what I could from like the publicly like leaked slides. So like, admittedly, like my alpha is all hearsay. But
The best.
the stuff like I learned about some new projects that they'd like slipped below my radar that were being published within Viper. For example, Cog Finance is one I wasn't aware of. Lido Finance has some interesting gate seal contracts, which are written in Viper, which they use to kind of provide an emergency release valve. There was talks by also Urine was talking about like how to build in a multi-protocol environment. PCA Versaccio from Snackmate talked about a lot of what's going on with that project, which is kind of like Soulmate, but for Viper. What else? There was one interesting talk by Z80 was done entirely in Emacs about their language tools.
Wait, Z80.
That's the username.
Yeah,
Z80.
yeah. He's in that. So remember the game that I talked about the other day, called ETHGlobal? I think he's the developer over there because he's in
nice.
the game. He's like I see him pop up every now and again when I play him. He's like founder Z80, and he wrote all their contract code in Viper.
Nice.
Yeah.
I didn't know that one. So see, like
Cool.
learning more all the time. Yeah, I think the highlight was Charles Cooper gave a big talk on what he was calling contract-oriented programming, as is distinct from like object-oriented programming, functional-oriented or imperative. So like, I'm really looking forward to hearing that one. But in the meantime, because like the video is not published yet, the slides are publicly available, so you can actually kind of discern a lot about how they're going to be implementing modules and some of the thinking behind it. And for example, like some of the keywords that they're going to be adding to make it syntactically marked for external contract interactions. But I would, in the meantime, point people to Rex from the Strange Water podcast. Had a very good interview with Charles Cooper, which came out yesterday. Very good timing for Viper Day. I think it was coincidental. But Charles Cooper like goes into a lot of like interesting like philosophical background about like how he found his way to Viper, including like life alpha. Like I didn't realize he was a linguistics major back in the day. So like interesting stuff, like, and explains why he like focuses so much on keeping the language like beautiful and easy to read.
That's so cool.
Hey.
Can I ask something?
Sure.
What's the like? How many of smart contracts, like active smart contracts nowadays? How many of them are written in Solidity versus Viper? Like, how big? How small is Viper currently in the market?
It's extraordinarily small when you actually look at it, and it's funny enough, it's getting smaller if anything. But that's mostly. So the reason for that is mostly that if you're doing it by numbers, and I haven't ran this since the bull market, so I might have changed a bit in the bear market, but it was essentially like all like NFT contracts being deployed during the height of the bull market, because it's like the most trivial thing in the world to like go to a website like, or a meme coin, right? Like they're like websites to let people who don't know how to code like take an Open Zeppelin template and deploy a meme coin or an NFT project within minutes. So like, as long as like all these kind of libraries and modules and imports exist, and like there's like, it becomes so like trivially easy for people to launch this, even if they don't know how to code. Like there's just a cajillion like little like projects that get deployed using this that don't go anywhere. Whereas in contrast, like up until March, there wasn't even like the Soulmate equivalent in Viper. So if you're deploying a Viper contract, you're literally like writing it from scratch or like copying from GitHub. So you're already at least like much more technically sophisticated to be able to do it. That being said, like if you are interested in learning, I think the case was made in that podcast I referred to yesterday that Viper is actually a really good language to get started on relative to Solidity.
Did you see? I sent this to you the other day about the Edge programming language. It's kind of
Yeah, I'm vaguely familiar with the Edge, and I think there was some talk about it at the event yesterday.
like what is at the forefront. I mean, like Viper's been introduced. Yeah, obviously, people want to work on optimizing Solidity or creating new languages that help with gas optimizations. Like, what happens over the next, 3 to 5 years with these development languages?
It's a good question. If I could predict the future, like my life would be way different. I know that there was actually an interesting panel that was being hosted at DevConnect featuring representatives from each of the different programming languages making their case. So I think that there was like Huff, Edge, Viper, Solidity representation. That's another one that I haven't found the video yet, but I'm looking forward to hearing that because I'm mostly like I got Viper pilled through my work with Curve. But that's not to the exclusion of some of these other languages that I just haven't looked into. I don't know where specifically they're going and where they might go. I don't like do much Rust either, which is I believe what Huff is in. So that's one of the reasons I haven't looked at Huff. Edge.
Well,
I don't know as much.
maybe we should recreate that here. Is have the coding language summit, or like I don't know what would you call that?
We should, but you want this to get to like the biggest possible audience, right? Which would be an NFT panel, not a coding panel.
Well,
No, you want it to get to the right people. Doesn't matter how many.
And those are everybody that's listening at home.
All of you, yes.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Yeah. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's been a nice discussion that we've had here today. Garrett and DeFi Advisor, great to have you here.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Also, Dio, shout out for taking time out of your day at DevConnect to come in and talk with us. Loved hearing about the updates.
Definitely.
And thank you, everybody who is listening at home, either on YouTube or Spotify or Twitter as well, too. We go out sometimes. Make sure to subscribe, and we will see you tomorrow. Actually, no, not tomorrow. It's Friday. We're touching grass. Touching grass tomorrow. Back on Monday, guys.
Cool, folks. Bye, everyone.